What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we got an engine.
I get a tattoo of DJ Khaled that says another one because like constantly just getting more of everything. There you go.
Thank you so much.
How's it going, guys? You too.
Appreciate you.
About time.
No kidding.
More power, baby.
More power, baby!
How long have we been waiting for this?
Like
4 months and 19 days.
Wait, how do you know that?
I looked it up this morning because y'all were talking about it.
Here is our engine, finally back from MMR. As you guys know, we sent this engine off a while back because we were having a low compression issue, which after sending it back to them ended up being something super minor, which I'm gonna explain to you guys. It's actually pretty funny. 4.5 months later, that minor issue was fixed, so we got it back.
Yeah. Tear it up, Gavin. Ooh.
On game.
Nice.
Literally, 50% of what we do is unnecessary hype.
There it is.
Wow.
It's been a really weird string of events for the last few months. If you guys remember, like I said, we had issues with this car, well, this engine at least. The engine was low on compression. We couldn't figure out how to fix it. We tried getting on the phone with them. After we exhausted all of our efforts trying to fix it, we shipped it back to them to get fixed. Let's get this thing unboxed, check it out, and I'll get into telling you guys what was wrong with it. It's kind of funny. So the cams were degreed by MMR to 112 degrees and 118 degrees. Whenever we had this engine assembled the first time, we were degreeing the cams, and apparently that is exactly where we went wrong. The reason why we had low compression across the entire bank, funny enough, was just because we forgot one tool when degreeing these cams. Now, typically on other types of cars that Doug has worked on, so I didn't degree these cams. I'll be honest with you, I'm not really too knowledgeable on degreeing cams, period. So Doug degreed these cams. Whenever he degreed them, we didn't buy the little tool that MMR sells whenever you're degreeing these. The little tool is essentially just a lockout piece that holds the chain's tension. That way whenever you're degreeing them, because if you imagine you spin the chain one way and now you've got slack on this side, so whenever you're degreeing it, spinning it back, that slack will cause inaccuracies, and that's what happened on that side. We didn't know that there was a lockout tool, so after trying to fix it over and over and over and over, having no luck, we ended up sending it back to them. Once they got it back, they were like, hey, did y'all use a tool for this? And I was like, what tool? And they were like, ah, okay. And so that was all that was wrong.
What did they do? Run out of screws?
We've got half the screws in this thing Phillips, half of them Allen's, half of them lag bolts.
Or you can do that.
Hi Gavin, per our conversation, the engine was disassembled in this video linked here. Contrary to the statement made in your video, the engine does have all of the piston rings. Awesome. We were attempting to do diagnosis on an engine that had low compression. We mentioned a statement that possibly the rings could have been left out. It appears as though the difference in compression was due to 3 contributing factors. So here's why this bank was low on compression and why we couldn't figure it out. Incorrect cam timing, incorrect cam timing procedure, and incorrectly installed chain tensioner. Yeah, we are unable to determine the origin of the short block. While it does have some MMR brand components inside of it, the external modifications, block water jacket supports, would suggest that this engine was assembled by someone else. As you guys remember, I did buy this engine used. I stated in the video buying the engine that I was buying this engine used, not directly from MMR. At the time of me making the video about the engine having issues, I stated this engine was not from MMR. The guy that I bought it from had the receipt from MMR. MMR also told me that they had the order on file from where the guy placed the order for this engine and claimed that it was a different engine because it had block supports in it, and that just because it had the MMR parts in it did not mean that they was their engine. Regardless, the short block seemed to be in decent shape considering the power level. It was ran for 1 pass, well actually about a half a pass. Making probably 1,000 wheel horsepower. It's 1,500 horsepower short block. So at this point, the engine will require reassembly, new head gaskets, cylinder hone, new piston rings, and final assembly with correct cam timing. MMR is happy to offer this for no charge, including a return shipping, a total value of over $3,500 if the following conditions are met. MMR agreed to finish this engine up for us. Thanks guys, I really appreciate it. We got our cam timing issue fixed, which was super minor, and 4.5 months later, we got the engine back. So I really appreciate that. If you guys want to go check out MMR, they're a great company, great products. We'll link their website down in the description down below. So this is what we had to do in exchange for them to give us this engine. And again, this is not slanderous. This is not us doing anything that is grounds of being sued for. This is again just stating the actual facts that happened. So here was bullet point number 1. We had to immediately leave Modular Motorsports a positive Google review. The Google review must reference the fake reviews left on your behalf by others. So let me go ahead and clarify. Essentially what happened is Modular Motorsports had a few different bad reviews that had mentioned my name, and they were like, MMR sucks, they didn't fix Gavin's engine right from his Just 6 or something like that. That had nothing to do with me. If I would have left that review, I would have been a lot more creative. If you would like to submit a draft of the review prior to posting it on Google, which is suggested, they put in parentheses, we are happy to give our seal of approval. This condition must be met prior to us beginning any reassembly work. So I went on Google, went to Modular Motorsports, and despite the fact that the reviews that were left on there had absolutely nothing to do with me, I suggested that people not go reach out to them about the issues that we had with the engine. I also asked that people go delete them, whoever left them. They were not on my behalf. I did not recommend that anybody go do that. I did not want anything to happen out of this. All I wanted was my engine fixed. That's it. Number 2, immediately remove all negative comments pertaining to MMR in the video comments section of all It's Just a 6 videos. That's really difficult to do because we had so many of them that were negative comments pertaining to MMR that we kind of just agreed that we would just leave them there. And from here on out, please guys, don't leave any negative comments. This condition must be met prior to us shipping the engine back to you. And lastly, MMR would like to see 2 videos made exonerating our company. So this one is the first video, and on here they outline and they say the first video could be a simple update video stating that you reviewed the disassembly video and that MMR was correct. So I got done reviewing the video that they sent me and MMR was correct. The cam timing was off. Also, the suggestion / assumption to my viewers that the engine is missing piston rings on one side was incorrect. I was wrong. Even though we didn't say that the engine was missing rings, I did say, hey, maybe a reason why it could be low on compression is because it's missing rings. Who knows? I'm sorry that I said that. That was a false statement. It had all the rings. We were wrong about all of the guesses that we had because we were unable to figure out that this cam timing for the lockout was wrong because we didn't have the lockout tool. Awesome. We learned. That's the point of this channel, is to be able to learn. We do stuff for the first time on this channel that we have ever done as amateur people. That way, all of the amateur people out there who want to go buy products like this to do it themselves, they watch us make the mistakes because we can afford to make them. That way, whenever they do it, they have learned the same way that we have. So we try to provide an educational experience to our viewers. In this video, I need to offer a simple apology to MMR for that assumption. MMR, I am terribly sorry that we were diagnosing the engine and I said that a possibility for the engine's low compression on this bank was because the rings possibly could have been missing. After that apology, I need to explain that MMR has offered to help with properly degreeing the cams and getting you all set up. So MMR was nice enough to get these cams degreed for us and get them shipped back to us. We got the entire engine assembled by them, and this thing is perfect now, I believe. We're gonna figure out once we get it back in the car and crank it up and really push the limits of it, but so far it looks really good. I'm happy about it. They got the cams degreed in spec using the proper tools, which means that we're gonna be set up and ready to go. So if you guys wanna check out, again, MMR stuff, you can go down the link in the description. We'll have their website down there if you guys wanna go check out their product. I am really, really happy. I am excited, honestly, to be able to, because like I said last time that we had this engine in the car, it is a 1500 horsepower capable engine, which means that we can throw pretty much all of the power that that VMP blower can put out, throw it at this thing, and it will be perfectly fine, which I'm really looking forward to. Plus, the cool thing about this is we've got these cam lockouts and these stage 3 cams from MMR. It's gonna chop and sound amazing. So I think that's all. As you guys know, we've been promoting their products on the channel now for about a year and a half.
Without them offering.
Yeah, without any kind of, I never even had communication with them or anything. I had been running a few of their products on different cars and things like that. Like for instance, I've ran their oil pump gears and everything that I've had. So whenever I got this engine built, as you guys know, the reason why I went and got this engine in the first place is because I couldn't afford one brand new at the time of getting this thing. So whenever we went and picked it up, it was still new, but it was secondhand. The guy had bought it from MMR and he had it sitting for about a month or two, I think, and then never ended up using it because his car ended up getting traded in maybe or something like that, or he wanted to change directions. So we ended up picking it up for a little bit cheaper than MSRP. The engine normally, I believe, is like, the short block is like $10,000. I ended up picking it up for like $7,000, so we saved a few $1,000s. It was a brand new engine. Everything, again, would have been great on it if it wouldn't have been for us not knowing about this tool for the lockouts, which again, there hasn't been a lot of videos made. There's not a lot of documentation on that kind of stuff. So honestly, we just really didn't know, and I'll be the first person to admit that. This was something that I told you guys whenever we were doing it, the lockouts, the big timing set and everything, super strong stuff, really cool with those big cams and everything, but you're eliminating the phasers and you've got to manually set the timing. That was not something that I was comfortable with, just because of the fact that I have never done anything like that. It was cool to learn about it. It's definitely still cool to learn about it. I learned a lot in this whole entire process, but whenever we were assembling this thing, that was something that I knew was going to be a possibility, that we were going to have issues just because we had never done it before. It's just fun to be able to try to go into uncharted territory and learn from it.
Actually, don't forget, MMR, whenever they're disassembling this, they said if you were to keep it with low
compression, like
everything would have been 100% fine. It just would have been down on power.
Right.
That's
so
it.
there was really nothing even wrong with it. It was just the compression was different bank to bank. We tried to figure out why. It was just normal stuff. But they offered to fix it, so we sent the engine over to them and they fixed it and they sent it back. And again, this is stuff that I really wanted to tell you guys that was going on for a long time, but we actually couldn't even mention anything about this engine whatsoever. So that's why every time that we would talk about it, I just told you guys, yes, it's coming, there's just complications, because there were complications and we couldn't really just get it back. Seriously though, let's I want to open this thing up and check it out. I'm kind of curious to see how everything looks. Looks good from the outside, but I see there's a little box up here on the top. I think I'm really excited because, as you guys know, we got an engine built similar spec to this by RPG. RPG, thank you guys so much, by the way. It will be kind of cool, as you guys have been asking a lot lately. We've been trying to get this car back together. That way we can race the GT versus the GT350. They've got very similar power. I'm excited to see how it stacks up against that twin turbo GT350 there, though. It's completely different platforms, completely different engine builds, completely different displacement, completely different force induction methods. Should be pretty neat. Hey, I will say it looks great. I'm eager to put a picture on Instagram, honestly. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, go follow me at It's Just a Six. But I think I might get a picture of this thing here in just a second.
You should update the channel members.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point too. So in case you guys don't know, we have the channel memberships thing. For anybody that's tier 2 or higher, we do these little updates like behind the scenes. So this video is filmed, but of course it takes a few days for the videos to be edited. So that's why a lot of the times whenever you guys see these videos, they're about typically 3 to 5 days past real time, is because again, it takes days to edit, upload, and things like that, and a lot of people get upset. But just to keep people in the loop for real time, what we do is on the channel memberships page, we'll go to that community tab and kind of post like behind the scenes pictures and stuff. So we're probably gonna go post a picture real quick of this engine just to let those channel members know that we did get it back. So in the next few days, they should be expecting a video of the unboxing, and then following that, we'll be hopefully getting the video of having this engine installed in the car, which is exciting.
Damn, that's a nice picture, Gavin.
Thanks, man. Oh, come on, fat girl. Up she goes again.
Yep. Once more.
This time it should be the last. Okay. This time it should be the last time we have to pull it out for at least another few months till the new setup's ready. Hot off the press for Doug. It's a perfect day for that shirt.
Oh, damn, that's a nice new shirt, Doug.
Well, not that one.
Oh.
Darnell.
Ah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I did notice, I don't know if y'all saw this or not, the tensioners right here were swapped out. Me and Doug were noticing this whenever we were taking it apart. I'm not sure what that's exactly for, but I know that we were reading somewhere, I think somebody was having some issues with these tensioners failing, the old style, and I think these are the new style. So
Steve. His name is Steve, and his other name shall be unmentioned.
anyways, Doug was talking to the guy, and he had this, ironically, this same tensioner fail, and whenever they pulled it apart, the tensioner had no tension on the timing chains at all. What happened was it actually came out of timing and broke a bunch of valves down the valve train and stuff like that. I'm not sure if they were having like maybe some kind of issues with the stock, or not the stock, but the other tensioners that they had on there. I just noticed whenever we got the block back from them, the entire engine here, it did have different tensioners, so that's kind of interesting. Whatever. Now let's swing this thing in on the game member. At this point, it's relatively simple. Clutch, trans, a few sensors back here on the head, valve covers, timing covers, supercharger, intercooler, lower the car back down onto it. So just crossing my fingers and hoping everything goes well. This engine shouldn't have any problems though, because like they said, that is completely assembled by them. So they pretty much signed off on it and shipped it back to us. So we should be good. Guess we'll see. So check this out. As soon as we stop recording, speaking of these new tensioners that I know weren't on there already,
Yeah.
that's how we found out they weren't on there already.
Yeah, I mean, this is the same one that we had on there, all the belt.
Same timing cover.
Yeah, I hadn't even touched it. The one we had removed our VCT sensors from. I mean, this is something minor that can be made to work, but see, whenever it goes on there how it's supposed to line, it won't. Where you can see all the bolt holes, you have to clock it and then angle it, and then it never actually sits flush on there. And then the crank is like all the way over here, out around, fit a whole finger there and then nothing there. So we're gonna have to grind, I guess, the inside of our timing cover. I don't know. Like I said, can be made to work, but I just wanted to show you, honestly. I guess we'll see.
Those tensioners look really new.
Oh yeah, no, the other ones that we had were red. These are completely different, and they're obviously much larger because they're not clearing the timing cover now.
Or something. Larger or something. I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll call them real quick and see why it's not clearing. Hey, can I speak with please?
Can I tell him who's calling?
Yes, this is Gavin from It's Just a Six.
Hi, this is. Can I help you?
Hey, this is Gavin.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Hey, I was just letting you know that we did get the engine back in, so I appreciate it. But I noticed once we got it back in, we went to go put the timing cover on, and whenever we went to put the timing cover on, we noticed that it wouldn't actually fit on, and I noticed that the tensioners had gotten swapped out. So I didn't know if they were...
Yeah, that's our new gen tensioner. We changed the tensioner around. Now it's got a limiter inside of it because Basically, those things are known for kind of pumping down when it sits at, when the engine sits at a certain, basically at rest. So they'll pump down. So our new gen tensioner has a whatchamacallit, like it's, for lack of a better word, it's just a spacer inside of it. It doesn't allow it to pump down. So you may have to do just a slight bit of clearancing on the timing cover where it would touch.
Okay, I got you. Was there any issue with the tensioners that came off of there? I didn't know if that was
No,
correlated to
there wasn't.
any of the issues that we were having previously or not.
No, there was no issues with them at all, but these are just the newer. We just wanted to put the newer updated stuff on it for you.
Oh, okay. I got you. Well, yeah, I guess I was just making sure that we were A-okay to clearance the valve cover, or the timing cover, sorry. I didn't know if we were supposed to do that.
It should need just a tad bit of, like right in the corner where those things are. It's weird because some of them fit and some of them don't, but I think it's just because it's a casting. It's not held to a tight tolerance in that area. There's core shift in the castings and they move around a little bit, so it just take a little bit, just a slight touch right there and it'll be good to go.
Okay, cool. Well, that is what I needed to know then. Thank you so much.
No problem. And I was going to tell you, so when I put that thing back together, do you remember what method did you guys use to degree the cams? Because they were like off by a lot. Some of them, one of them was off by almost 15 degrees. I don't know how you guys did it, but I was just kind of curious.
Yeah, it was with a comp cam wheel that we had, the degree kit from comp. Whenever we put those comp cams in there, I figured that the comp cam kit would be the best for degreeing those, so that's what we got to use.
Okay. Yeah, that's strange. Something weird must have happened with that, but regardless, it's good now. It's perfect, so you guys should be good to go.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, then. I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, not a problem. If you got any questions at all while you're putting that thing together, don't hesitate to give me a call.
Sure thing. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, bye. That's going to be a wrap for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you drop a like on this video. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about having the MMR engine back finally. And I cannot wait to see this thing running. So the next few videos should be us getting this engine installed into the car, getting this thing started back up. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So hopefully you guys are too. Till then, see you guys next video.